Are you almost closing the sale and then suddenly your client goes, I need to check with the decision maker if we're getting this deal or not? Or you're in the middle of your closing and your client say, I'm actually happy with my current provider, and so I need to consider if we would need your service as well. So, welcome again for another training session. If you've seen two parts of our objection training, this is the part three and the part four that I'm putting together in one video. And the first, just to recap, the first objection was price objection. The second objection was comparison objection. And for today, I just want to I want to hit two birds in one stone today. So we're going to talk about the need for approval objection and the satisfaction with current program objection. So let's get into it. Number one, if your client, you will experience that you're halfway through your presentation or you're in your closing part where your client would express how he is not really the decision maker for this particular purchase. For instance, he would still need to speak to the boss or the person in charge to approve the process. When this happens, it can easily push you back. And I've experienced that myself, and I felt like, oh my God, I'm almost there. I felt so frustrated deep inside, but at the same time, you have to. That's why you do trainings like this, because you get some insight on how you could actually prepare yourself for moments like that. So my advice to you when that happens is, number one, you prepare the options. If you're speaking to the client right now, you prepare options for him. And of course, one of the options you want to prepare is, okay, I could understand that today may not be the right day to fulfill the order. So I would like to recommend a second meeting, or maybe I could directly speak to the finance controller or whoever is that person to share with him all the information we discussed today. And so you don't need to do that. So basically what you're trying to do here is, respectfully, you would like to engage yourself with the person who's going to be the decision maker, of course with the permission of your client. And by doing that, you're making him feel that you just want it to be easy for him, that he doesn't have to repeat everything that you've presented to him. And by doing that, also, you're making him feel confident that you are actually reliable, that you're willing to go extra mile, and you're willing to do the whole presentation all over again to the second person. The outcome of this could vary from him saying, oh no, let me just directly talk to him and I'll get back to you. And that's okay. That can happen. And if it does, you just have to respect that and just say, not a problem, Mr. Smith. What I can do is to set a follow-up appointment with you so that I can further assist you. And should your financial controller be interested to speak to me, or for the two of you to sit down with me together, if you have any clarifications on how the product works and what's the coverage, etc., please let me know. I'll make myself very much available for you guys. Simple as that. So always prepare that option, and it's up to him to take it or not. But at least you've done your part. Now, another thing also, guys, is if that's not it, again, I'm sharing you tips on a case to case basis, because every presentation has a different flow, different mood, different client as well. Depends on the rapport you have with your client, how comfortable you are with each other, and if there is that level of comfort, sometimes there's a way for you to get around with getting through the decision maker. And please raise your hand if you've experienced that with your regular clients as well. And of course, at the end of the day, if you're talking to a new client where you're both just met and have not really established that rapport, and that's perfectly okay, what can happen is for you to give him a profile away a little bit. What I mean by profile away is just to do a bit of inquiry to him and say, okay, Mr. Smith, I do understand that. But if you can just share with me some information for me to also understand, what do you feel are the qualifications or the criteria of your decision maker? In terms of the pricing, what pricing is he looking at to your understanding? At the same time, what's the budget that he's looking at? That at least I can make myself, aware of that as well and see what we can do about it. Perhaps you can share with me your the deadline. When is the deadline? Do you feel your decision maker, when is the deadline for him to feel that this product is needed to be in your to be used by your team? For example, if you're doing software, right, as IT software, how soon do you when is the deadline for your team to have this up and running, so we can also project the timing on processing of payments and order and stuff like that. So it really depends on what type of product you're selling. The idea is again to keep profiling, keep asking question, keep qualifying. Qualifying is not only at the very beginning of your presentation, although it is the most important part of your presentation when you're setting up the stage. And then, of course, as you go through the conversation or the presentation, then of course you should always be able to find ways to ask qualifying questions so that you're also able to position all the time the needs of your client and giving the solution and being able to find solution for that need, because all your client is looking for is, this is what I need, can you give it to me? This is the problem or the solution. This is the problem we're facing. Can you fix it for us? Okay, so, and of course, these are the criterias that can happen on any type of clients. But at the same time, I believe that in my sales experience, every time this objection comes, you just don't fight it, in a way that don't go against it. I've heard salespeople in the past who would say, "Oh, no, you don't need to talk to your boss, or you don't need to talk to your wife, or you don't need to talk to that person who you feel is the decision maker. You don't need to do that. Don't need to do that." That's what they do, and I feel like the impact of that to the client is you're nothing but a hard seller. And again, I don't believe in that. I believe that people will buy because of two things: they like you and they need something from you. And if you already take away the fact that you're likable by the way you handle this particular objection, you already lost 50% of your chance to get that business. Okay, so that's that. Now, I just want to go on the second objection, which is the satisfaction with current provider. So, what does that mean? If you are selling, let's just say, hotel membership card, because that's where I really came from. But you can refer this to any product that you're selling as well, right? So if you're selling a hotel membership card, this is a very common objection that we get from our clients when they would say, okay, I'm already member with 3 hotels currently, so I don't really need your membership card, or I'm not really interested to sign up on your membership program. So one of the standard approach that we use for that particular objection is, of course, number one, you need to recognize, I do appreciate that you do have membership cards with 3 hotels or other hotels. It just goes to say that you do have a very active lifestyle that requires for you to have access on your dining and accommodation discounts. So that's a good thing. You always start with that. Any objection that comes your way, my number one tip is always acknowledge that before you overcome the objection. I will repeat. Any objection that comes your way, you acknowledge the objection before you overcome the objection. And what I mean by you encourage the objection is simply just acknowledging it, that the client doesn't feel, do not feel that you're threatened by it, or you're not upset about it, or you're not annoyed by it. So those are the possible reasons why client would feel that, okay, I gave you an objection and then you didn't acknowledge that, and then you're defensive, and then next thing you know, you lost 50% of your chance to get the sale because you became a very unlikable salesperson. Okay, so going back to that scenario, acknowledge first that I could appreciate that you have multiple membership cards. Perfect. It means to say that you have a good life. You have a very active lifestyle and you require membership cards to cater to your dining and accommodation discounts. Now, after you do that, what you want to do next is you want to again still inquire or qualify. So what you want to ask is, okay, Mr. Smith, I appreciate that you mentioned that you're satisfied with your current provider or you have multiple cards right now. If you can just share with me, what do you actually like most about those membership cards that you're keeping right now? Or with the membership that you're maintaining right now? What do you like most? Is it the value? Is it the membership fee? Is it the flexibility? Is it the transferability? Is it the international coverage? Is it the wide local options or the widespread local options? So when you ask these questions, right, these are very positive questions. You see, when you're selling, there's two types of questions. There's the positive questions where you're asking positively, and of course, chances are the answer will be positive because that's what you're looking for. You want to set the mood that you're being a positive salesperson and you're likable and you care about what he likes. You care about what is interesting for him. So, another tip I want to share with you is remember to always make the client feel that even if they're giving you objections, you are happy to take that. Yeah? Now, going back to that. So, you want to identify the reasons why he or she is happy with his current provider. It's not an objection. Personally, I would not take that as an objection. I would take that as a fact about your client. And so you can turn this around and you can only control what you can control. If the client hang up on you and say, no, 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 I just stop explaining to me and hang up. And we've all experienced that. I've experienced that myself, that I'm still on the call. I was like, I'm doing my best to overcome and handle the objection. And the client just like hang up on me. I did experience that many times. And it's the most discouraging feeling. And at the same time, it's a learning opportunity for me to improve my mental strength as a salesperson, that I can just get on to the next call and forget that something negative like that happened. Or I'll get up, go out, get a drink, go for a little walk, whinge to my colleagues, and then clear my mind, and then a few minutes back, get back on my next call. And you survive that. And you get on your next call and your next call, and next thing you know, you've got your sale. So I digress. Now, again, also what you want to find out is, apart from finding out what they like most about, you also want to find out, now this is a tricky one, right? You want to find out as well what they least like or what they wish that membership card offers to him. For example, the client would say, yeah, I like ABC benefits, but I wish they have pool benefits. I wish they give discount at the pool bar. What if, just what if, your package has a pool bar discount? And that could be the reason for him to sign up from you, and he can still maintain his other memberships. I hope you catch that. So it's really, again, objections are there for you to help strategize your presentation and to be able to just be more smarter on your calls. That's why I'm never going to be a fan of telemarketers or salespeople that would, or sales coaches or sales trainer who would tell the staff or the sales team, don't take no for an answer and all these things. Yeah, in a way, you don't take no for an answer, but you have to take a no for an answer, but you have to give a fight on that. And the fight I'm talking about is acknowledging the objection in a very positive way. And then you find your way to overcome that by asking smart questions, by being just the best salesperson out there. Just win every single salesperson out there by your personality, by your smartness, and by your sweetness. Salespeople can also be sweet. In fact, those are the most successful salespeople I know because they know how to really show that sweet side of them to the client while being go-getter for the sale. So before I close this session, another part there, or another question you want to ask as well is, when is it expiring? You know, if they have insurance plan, and that's another objection. You want to find out when is it expiring, because when you do that, you can again say, okay, it's expiring in 3 months time, and you can't force him. If you say, look, you're a sweet girl, you're a nice guy, I can't take this right now because I still have existing membership. Just find out when is it expiring. And if we say, okay, it's expiring in 3 months time, what you can do is to say, Mr. Lim, I respect that. Please, by all means, I'm happy to assist you again. In the next 3 months, I'll do a follow-up call. I'll touch base with you just to check if everything's okay. And if this deal is for you in 3 months' time, I will speak to you again. And again, the ultimate rule is you start the call right and you end the call right. I've seen telemarketers who didn't get the sale and just ended the call so wrongly and so distastefully. Don't do that, because especially if this client could potentially be a sale for you in 3 months' time. So you don't want to be one of those salespeople who would just be nice at the beginning and be bitter at the end of the call. And before I close this again, I just want to say as well that this particular objections, this particular topic, I keep referring to telemarketer, right? Or telemarketing, because that's kind of like, if that's the mode of selling that you use. But if you're doing face-to-face selling, please know you can also use these tips and tricks I'm sharing to you right now. In fact, in my whole 40 something videos in my playlist, please explore what's in there, what's working for you, what's applicable for you. And although it's mentioned telemarketing, sales is sales. It's face to face, it's telemarketing, it's door to door. It's the same principle in many ways. So if you're doing direct selling or face to face selling, please translate this entire training session as if I am using the term face to face selling, because it's the same. It's the same application pretty much, and I'm sure you can agree to that this is something you can do as well on your face to face selling. Okay. So again, um, am I not missing anything? Okay, so again, I just want to share with you those tips for today. There's two objections in today's video, and I hope that they're helpful. As I've turned over a little over a month and in YouTube, I'm actually at the stage of just branching out on other topics that are related to sales, to telemarketing, to business communication, personal communication, and of course, as we are all salespeople, or as we are all talking to people when we're doing our businesses, I feel that personality development training could be another part of your soft skills that we can talk about and I can share with you, given that I've also had my fair share with handling sales team from 5 people up to 30 people. So being able to understand and identify every single person's character can really significantly affect your performance, your feelings at work, and your relationship with people in in the office. So yeah, so that's also going to be on the playlist soon, and I hope today was good for you. I think I felt really good about today's training. I also just keep in mind that my training, I'm also learning as I go. Everything is spontaneous. This is not a none of my training sessions are scripted, so I'm sorry if sometimes I use wrong words or wrong English, so I'm sorry about that. But again, thanks for viewing. Thanks for joining us on today's training session. There's a few more objections that's going to be part of this series, and I will see you guys on the next training session. Bye, guys.